like one of the greatest Dayton moments I ever experienced. I was riding my bike down North Main, and the Chicken Louie chicken was in the parking lot, and like these four fabulous women were like just all around the chicken, you know, like big earrings, like all just total decked out, got all kinds of jewelry, and just dancing, going, "Go chicken, go chicken," and the chicken was dancing. I just stumbled upon that. Like, that's what makes this city magic.
Yeah.
Wow. Like just outside in the middle of the day, huh?
Oh, yeah, the Chicken Louie's.
Does anybody know what's going on down at that area of Main Street where they've basically flattened those few blocks around the highway? What do they plan on doing with that?
Plasma!
Yeah, there's a
plasma TV.
Yeah, that's right. This is the second. And I know I got my mouth full of food, but that's what it's all about, eating dinner and just talking and being chill and talking real about subjects in Dayton. We've got Ryan Gelatin.
Hello.
From Dayton, Ohio. For how long? Like your whole life?
Oh, man. I grew up in Franklin, Ohio. Moved here about 18, 19, been here ever since.
Okay.
I'm 34 now.
Maria Holt, you are a resident of Huber Heights?
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Been in the Dayton area for how long?
I've been here since '97.
Okay.
Yep.
And Rockwell Patterson, South Park resident, the reigning philosopher king of the Dayton
Hardly.
And so, what topics do we want to talk about town?
Was that still going? That's terrible. I know there's a lot of people making an effort.
Yeah, well,
And I've seen a couple like TechCon ads periodically pop up on television.
Is that where they have the big crane that grabs toys from the internet? Like you can control it? It's not Texas? That's what it was.
That would be great.
Toontown, isn't that a
No, they had like some like giant big crane.
No, it's just like building. It's down by like just it's like east of Fifth Third Field, like a couple blocks over by.
I know where it is.
There's another white building over there that they're going to tear down and do some stuff with. And I saw that they were working on that. It's coming a little bit.
No,
it's an incubator for.
It's not making money. Should the city fund research and development ventures like this? Because right now it's like got 3 organizations and they're all grant affiliated.
No, they should give some CNC machines to people who do this kind of stuff in their garage. Because that's like they're trying to, say that this is a place for innovation, or a place for aviation, all these other things. Mm-hmm. Step ladder that pops up, and people who trouble with their board. And but all those people did those things, with their own machine tools and came up with the ideas on their own.
It seems like.
And then marketed them, and did things with them. So, my dad always maintained that, if you couldn't get it built in Dayton, Ohio, it couldn't be built. And I think that's still true to some degree because there are a lot of retired machinists and machinists that are still in existence that still tinker with stuff. And there's plenty of welders and there's plenty of people who understand that stuff from working in the automotive industry here.
That's true. Who are out of work.
But no, I think that money should go straight to Crown Plaza. And because I understand that the buffet needs to look tweaking.
They gave Crown Plaza $250,000 last week as part of like a $3.5 million renovation. My numbers may not be correct, but it's approximately correct. Not a really necessary number to get the thing done. And what's going on in the city? Is it moral to be doing that?
Well, they got the convention center all.
But if it went down underneath, if all this stuff went under too, people would be like, "How could you let the middle hotel in the middle of town?" But it's fairly regular occurrence in that.
I don't know how much
government's giving private business money.
I personally don't think so. I was very upset last year when the City Commission and the Dayton School Board basically voted to give is it G to tax abatements for like 10 years.
15, I believe.
It could have been, but I remember
Because of the
thinking,
UD
wow.
Has something to do with the fact that they took over the NCR building.
I believe. No, I guess it was somewhere in Dayton. But I just remember thinking, okay, but you're saying that you're cash strapped, the schools are failing, and you're laying off teachers and getting rid of programs. You know, especially after Governor Kasich comes in and basically slashes education like no other governor has done in recent history. I thought it was a little immoral, you know, because, and then they have all these, to me, unconstitutional stoplight cameras all over the city that's charging mainly poor people $85 a ticket.
But those are there for safety. I'm joking.
Oh, I know. I would say no.
Well, that's what the
It's all
Yeah, they're there for money.
Yeah,
please.
we're there for money. They're gouging us. They want us
Yeah,
to
I guess
keep
the
paying.
question-
regular
you know,
people.
the
Yeah.
There's no better
question
people
But then
to go
they
at.
give
They say
money
it's for
away
safe.
to-
They say it's for safety, but
not.
would they do it if they weren't making money off of the fines?
Of course not.
If
And,
they said, okay, you ran to the stoplight, you got to go help out at the community garden for 4 hours on Saturday. If you don't do that, then you got to pay us.
Right.
So no, that wouldn't be going down.
Right.
You know, this tech town and the entrepreneur club or whatever it's called.
Engineer.
You know, they're like, we have to move away. Dayton's not going to be manufacturing
Yeah,
the
well,
same
yeah.
way. It's got to be technology and all of this scientific stuff. But how many people can fill those positions? Not everyone is going to college to get these degrees. There might, obviously, there are smart people here that can do that, but that's not going to revitalize our economy on the whole. Because people have. Not everyone can be IT. Not everyone can be an engineer. And all of this, we still need people that just have manual skills to do things, you know.
And opportunities,
And
for them
opportunities
that are
for
like
that,
wide
right.
open. I think that's like the
Right.
biggest.
And we don't have.
Right.
No, and then we've got all these like idle people and social problems.
So
that-
how do we-
And that's why, like, say, Wayne and Xenia Avenue, it just looks like a post-apocalypse hillbilly explosion of, like, insanity. Where it's like, you
It
can't
does,
even...
man.
It does, yeah.
There
you know,
are pockets of the east side that just look
Oh.
like
The hills have
they
eyes.
look like
Yes,
Charles
that's-
Bukowski's novel has like swept through the wind and just
Absolutely.
delivered like
Gummo.
hopelessness.
Yeah,
Gummo.
Gummo.
Even-
that wasn't even filmed in Xenia. Did you ever see
Yeah.
that movie?
No.
Oh my God! This
It's scarier than Gummo. I mean, Gummo is kind of lighthearted fun compared to the shit that I've seen.
That's
Just
true.
walking down Wayne
Gummo
Avenue.
is like light
Yeah,
compared to like some of the reality I've seen in the city.
absolutely.
But there's huge juxtapositions, and then the biggest problem I see is with like the whole like city government business class is completely separate from
Yes.
the rest of Dayton.
They don't know who they're. They don't know who
There's a
they're.
And they run the town.
They run it. There's a circle.
Yeah.
They run the town, and then there's the heaving masses
Yeah. I'll tell you.
outside of that circle.
Yeah.
You mean heaving by puking?
Speak, you know.
Well, I just say that like, but you know,
Right,
masses of people.
what were we talking about?
We were talking about Dayton.
I don't remember, but
Can you put graphic edge second?
Well, the thing
drop
is,
right there?
and I'm certainly no expert, but it seems like the city of Dayton, and probably most local governments of cities like this, it's so obvious that their best, like, all they care about is making money. They're really not interested in helping people.
That's true. I could
So,
agree with that.
but what I find funny is when they do when they do the lip service. Like, they actually give a shit about
Right,
the
yeah,
community.
right.
And it's like, it's obvious. You're making all these decisions that show otherwise. So why don't you just come out and do that? We get it. It's all just a big business.
I don't know. I think the topper for like all these dollar stores and everything is that the city, like a couple months ago, gave Dollar General liquor license over here in Needmore. And it's like that's
Yes.
just what everyone needs.
And you know
You're
what they
already
were
poor.
gonna do? They were gonna give Walgreens right there at the corner of Philadelphia and Salem a liquor license, but the only reason why that stopped is because Good Samaritan, the corporation, objected to it.
Yeah, well, that's another subject. Is that you think kind of predatory businesses that exist in the city
It's
would
ridiculous.
ever go anywhere else?
No, they're not in the
Yeah.
suburbs. I've said that for
Right.
years. I would go to Detroit and literally, visit family, and I'm like, wait a minute, a liquor store, There's a gun store, another liquor store, and I'm just like, really? Like, how many liquor stores can be on
We
one
have
strip?
porn shop, church supply, porn shop. That's
bar.
actually made national photograph. It's like
Time magazine.
That's pretty funny.
Dayton is like the most apathetic city, at least in Ohio. I can't say the country. You know, I talked to a lady from Cleveland.
I'd rather not talk about it.
You don't even want to talk about it.
Yeah. It's like the grandma that you keep up in the guest bedroom that you just don't talk about.
It's a disease in Dayton. I
It
mean,
is. I mean, we could see that in the last city commission race. You know,
we've stopped going to the city commission meetings because, even the good stuff we get from there, unless it was like something really controversial that involved something outside of like city commission, someone to come, a complaint. The most popular one video of city commission history that we did was the guy saying, "You got to catch that panther. You got to catch that panther now."
If nobody cares what the city's doing.
Well, Panther's still in the loose. I want to make that abundantly clear.
Dayton elected Kasich.
Of course.
yeah, I saw that. I could not believe that. Well, that's because a lot of people stayed home.
Dayton is like the once prom queen that is now the waitress at Denny's with like 4 kids and hepatitis. And all she keeps talking about is the prom queen days, which would be like the Wright brothers days, basically. It was like, we invented flying. It's like, what are you doing now?
Oh,
We invented talking about flight.
Yeah,
talking about
I like that.
flight. Exactly. We invented like an industry to memorialize.
This theme of anachronism keeps coming up. This like reactionary, let's stay in the same place, let's do the same things, let's try to get back to what we were. And there isn't any like
There's no going back. No one's willing to admit that in the
ever. Past us a
any
lot.
kind of local anything. There is no going back.
Yeah, well, why do you think people are so apathetic? I mean, particularly here in Dayton.
Who cares?
I mean,
Dayton's kind of a hopeless place. I mean, I think it certainly has a hopeless feel to it.
A
Just
lot
in
of parts of
general.
the city do.
Yeah. It certainly has this, wherever you wander to, it's kind of like, this is it. This is kind of a disappointment place to live in.
I think maybe you should go to Detroit and interview them about Dayton. And say, like, really, we want to know what happens next. Because, I mean, I assume Detroit's like the first big city to fail.
right.
I mean, to some degree, it's the first big city. Obviously, small towns have failed on the notion that people have moved to the big city, and the farmer community is dried up because of that.
Sucked in by the
Local
township. or
local
whatever.
retail is dried up from that, and then and the rest of it's bought out by one guy, whatever.
I mean, it's extremely complicated. I mean, there's many factors that make Dayton the way it is, and I don't think it's all that bad. Like,
There's a lot of worse big cities.
oh yeah,
To be,
it's just.
You ever heard it called the Seattle of the Midwest?
no.
I heard it
Why is
called
that?
that.
Because there's a level of intellectualism here that doesn't necessarily exist in other places.
Oh, is there?
Well, in some small pockets.
Yeah, there's a
of,
lot of.
I thought you meant all the
there are
shitty
two
guys.
really pretentious coffee shops in downtown now.
But yeah, there is
Press
there's a lot
is being
of
recognized
engineers,
nationally as a coffee
scientists,
shop.
But there's there's a
Well,
huge
the colleges
disparity.
and universities.
Yeah, there's that was like the thing about like living in Miamisburg. You'd have like all these like kind of like kind of raggedy kids from down the river bottom next to like scientist kids who their dad was like
Up and
working
around.
working on like a space laser to fry everyone.
I mean, that's the same thing. That's the same experience. That's the same experience I had when I hung out in Miamisburg.
Really good example of that is when the city of Dayton voted to start like putting panhandlers in jail
Yeah.
and stuff like that. They did that
It's because we're out of
a couple
problems
years ago.
here.
And
No
then
more problems.
last year they went like into the city, like on the west side. You can't be in the median anymore. And then it ended up getting scrapped because there's no room in the jails for them. Like, why are you arresting people? I mean, at least they're not robbing people and kicking in doors. I mean, they're just standing there.
Yeah.
Right then.
Yeah.
Some of those guys are criminals. It's not.
Well, yeah, but to go after the
Well, I mean,
panhandlers is
but-
really just saying that, oh, we don't have any other problems that are more important than this to address right now, so we're going to focus all our attention on panhandlers.
Yeah, well, some of the panhandlers certainly didn't get any kind of like sympathy from anybody because there are guys like sitting out with cell phones and Air Jordans, panhandling over on Wayne and Kiwi. I've seen them
Nice
before.
jacket.
Yeah.
That Wade and Kiwi spot is
See, I
prime
don't
territory.
spend a lot of time on the east side. I
People
can't.
Okay, yeah,
fight
that's
over
it.
it. They
But
fight
do
over that
fight
video.
over that spot.
They fight. Minnie,
Oh, really?
Minnie goes there and picks up gas to go to work, and she's like, they're fighting over that spot again. Like, she's told me that 3 or 4 times. She's like, they'll throw their 40s at each other.
But the interesting thing is, because I'm a student at Wright State,
Well,
I see panhandlers in Beaver Creek.
Then throw.
Oh yeah, Beaver Creek's having the freak out now.
Yeah,
over
and their whole thing is, oh, they're from Dayton. And I'm like, no, they were there before they passed that law. I mean, I've been at Wright State for a couple of years now, and I just see them standing out there, you know.
There's lots of traffic.
Trying to end the tuition.
Oh yeah, but Beaver Creek's experiencing some of the same problems that Dayton has experienced with down to they're experiencing copper
The horror.
thievery
Oh yeah.
in Beaver Creek and all that
That poor house across the street.
Well, I read about rising poverty in America.
Yeah, suburbs is where poverty is rising the most in America.
The answer is for people, the top 400 people. To me, I just think is absurd that there's 400 people in this nation that own and control all the wealth for the bottom 150 million people. I think that's like that's a problem. That's a huge problem, but nobody wants to talk about it. People want to ignore it.
Yeah, people want to.
And say that, oh, they earned. No, they didn't. A lot of times they're stealing their way to the top. Just
No.
like the CEOs.
You can't
What
really
they-
earn that much.
What they did is they
Your
set up
values.
No, you're
channels
not.
of income that enabled that income to flow to them. And then they just figured out how to widen the banks on that flow. That's what they did. They just toyed with it for longer periods of time. Until
No,
they get
there's
that.
laws set up to help them do that too, though. And then
Exactly.
there's the absence of laws.
Exactly. But what they did
that
was,
protect
and
people,
the numbers just
hard-working
came out.
people.
They're the top. What is it? The top. I can't remember what number it is. The top certain number of companies. I want to say it's the Dirty 20 or whatever they call it. But those companies made 100. I think they call it the Dirty 20 because they paid zero in taxes.
Exactly.
Right. They made $118 billion together.
But why did
As
they pay
companies.
zero in taxes?
Because they didn't just because they didn't just get 118 billion, and then my numbers could be slightly off, but they're right around, they're within 10 billion.
They earned every billion.
Which is close. They paid $475 million in, so $500 million in lobby money for a return of 90 whatever it is billion. I mean, it's insane because they not only that, but they got $108 billion in tax,
Thank you.
benefits, write-offs, and things like that. So it was like, it's like they basically essentially said, if we spend $500 million here, we can get another $18 billion in profit out of our taxes. It was the numbers are frightening.
Sure.
And and GE is one of them. And
Yes.
there's a couple other companies that are
$26
just
billion
sort
in
of
2010
surprising.
didn't pay any
Yeah.
taxes.
no taxes whatsoever.
And that's what pissed me off so much about Dayton giving them tax abatements for 10 or 15 years. They didn't pay any taxes. They can afford to operate a business and pay taxes in the city of Dayton for the schools. I mean,
Right, because they have accountants
Schools in
that can
Ohio.
show that they're shaky on the numbers. But this is what happens everywhere. It's what happens everywhere. I mean, you go
you
back
mean
to
in the U.S.
Yeah, it's not uniquely Dayton.
no, it happens all over the world. I mean, this is what happened in Greece.
Well, not in Sweden.
Greece was given. Sweden is a little bit different,
You're right.
but
Very
Greece.
Yeah,
they're
in
a little
Norway
different.
and the Norwegian country. So
Well, and I
mean-
particularly like Iceland these days because they're arresting bankers. Like
Yes.
nobody else is
Yeah.
doing that.
and we don't see that on our mainstream.
No,
media.
no,
They
no,
don't
no.
want us to see.
No,
that.
no, it's blacked out. Like they don't want to talk about.
Yeah,
it.
they don't want. They don't want us to
They
get
wanna
any
talk about
ideas.
Because they're gonna open up the debtors' prison and figure out how to put us all in jail. Make it
I
work.
did hear about that comeback. Actually,
I don't know. I hope not. No,
I hope
they've
not.
already arrested some people. They're not for actually being in debt, but they get summons to court and they don't take it seriously because they're like, I can't afford to do anything, so why should I go to court and tell them that? So then they miss court and then they get arrested for missing court.
No, really.
Yeah. So kind of like deadly dads sort of stuff.
I think like Gary Lightful so far.
I don't know what he's doing. I don't know. He's working on his house.
Well, pretty much our mayor doesn't really do anything except go to places and shake hands.
Yeah, I
and
was
smile.
going to say Dayton doesn't have the way it's set up.
Doesn't have a
doesn't
strong mayor.
So he's just
He does like
a
to talk
face.
about alcohol on Facebook a lot.
He's a
I'm not
figure.
sure if that's all right.
Does he?
Yeah,
Well,
What's
like,
with alcohol?
we're having drinks here. This is a good drink.
Get gin gimlets or something like that.
I don't know what he was talking about.
A gin martini
It's
sure
like
would
you're the mayor
sound nice
of a
now.
really depressed city, and you're talking about what you're drinking. Why?
Well, perhaps
Maybe he needs to. Maybe that's what it is.
maybe Dayton needs a drink.
Where's Paul? Where's Paul
We're
Leonard?
having a drink.
I don't think
Where's
Dayton
Paul
needs a
Leonard
drink.
when we need
We're
him?
I think
having a
Dayton
drink.
needs a lot of drinks.
I read today that 78,000 people.
There's a correlation
Live in a
between
food
violent
desert.
crime and the economy.
Absolutely.
Sure.
So, and obviously we know that in the African American community, at least, that if there's an economic crisis, 9 times out of 10, African Americans are suffering more than the rest of the country. I mean, look at the unemployment numbers.
Once that desperation starts creeping
Yeah.
in, it just makes
It ramps up your desire to acquire
well
in whatever
either
fashion.
that or just kind of brings about some irrational thought.
And I think it goes back to what you said before about the hopeless feeling. You drive through these neighborhoods in Dayton.
I was
There's
going to
no-
say, you guys were talking about the east side. There's places on the
Right.
west side. I was like,
It's
you
all
go down
over.
some
Yeah.
of these streets and
Yeah.
you're like, what is it, that movie, the Legend or something like that, where Will Smith did it?
I Am
Legend. I mean,
Right.
it looks like that.
It's supposed to
Exactly. And how are
apocalyptic.
those kids
Yeah.
that grow up there? How are they supposed to have hope?
Yeah.
They're like,
And
this is where I live.
I
They
have
don't
and
even
the
know what it
schools
means.
look
right,
like
right. They don't
prisons.
know that it's
Have
affecting
you
them
looked
like
at
that.
these new schools in Dayton?
Prisons.
Yeah.
They look like juvenile facilities to
Yeah.
me. Who
Yeah.
thought to design these? Who approved the design? I mean, I just thought
Somebody's
that was
getting paid.
ridiculous.
I mean,
Exactly.
it's not.
Look at. They call it. What do they call them on
City,
the
the
national?
citizens voted for.
What
They
do
voted
call
for
them,
new
the
schools,
national-
but not the
Yeah.
designs.
No.
I mean, they voted to pay out more tax money to
Right.
build the new schools. That's
Right.
what they voted for. I remember that.
No, they call them
about 10 years
There
ago.
was a guy did that study called them failure factories, or there was
Yeah,
something.
I looked at that study.
Well, like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
guess
Yeah.
what? One of them was Belmont. Have you been driven by Belmont?
I've
It's
never
a
been
new
to
one.
Belmont.
Multi-million-dollar facility up there, right next to the police station.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like right next to the police station. It's like, okay, 5 cops get to just go work there for the rest of their life.
Yeah,
work in the door and work in security in the hallways for the rest of their life. I mean, because they're right next to the police station. When you're off duty, you can just go pick up some.
Well, the new high school makes the police station now look like a shanty. So they gotta. I'm looking at them like, come on, boys.
You know what's
gotta get a new
right
station here.
behind that school? A triple max insane asylum.
Oh, that's
Oh
right.
well,
So you've got here's the
you're talking about Insane Wayne.
Dayton has tons of drugs.
That place is
Yeah.
closed now.
It's surrounded by
Johnson Valley.
people who bought
Way
company
back
drugs
in
in
there.
the city.
There's a
Behind
mental
us.
hospital on
Yep.
the left, but there's a triple max mental
Well, I
hospital.
mean,
on the
675,
right.
70.
You know, the money sits in the suburbs, and there's probably a lot more. Not probably. Statistics have shown people in suburban communities, wider communities, use drugs a lot more.
I was going to bring that up. Michelle
love that
Alexander.
commercial.
Michelle Alexander brings that up. That point home very good in her new book, The New Jim Crow.
Yeah.
And she talks about how there is, when you look at studies, there is no great gap between, who's selling drugs and, actually who's using drugs, because actually more white people use drugs, and they're about the same correlation for selling of drugs. But when you look at who's actually in prison for drugs,
Right.
90% are African American and Latino men.
Right.
Only 10% are white.
Well, and take this as third-party hearsay, but I had a friend who used to travel in some fairly illicit circles, and he told me that he was hanging out at this dude's house who was a fairly big shot dealer or something like that, and he said that there were these Oakwood girls that were like walking around serving them drinks in barely any clothes to like score their coke. So they
Where's
could
this
take it
again?
back to Oakwood. Yeah, exactly. I'll give you the
So couple all
It's an
that.
after hours
Yeah.
club. They get another right people.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, there was a
I'm
student in a, yeah.
Yes. I want to go and stop them right away,
Yeah.
over and over again.
There was a student in my juvenile
sociological juvenile justice class this summer, and she was from Centerville, and you know we talked about crime rates, what kind of kids are getting locked up and so forth, and she just openly admitted in class, like, oh yeah, we drink, we use drugs, we have parties, we do this. A lot of times the cops will just come and say, just keep it down and leave, because the parents are out of town on business or what have you, and half the high school's over to maybe Sarah's house, I don't remember the girl's name, and they're all getting high and getting drunk, and the cops will just say, come by, and say,
as long
keep
as
it
nobody's
down
killing
and
each
then
other,
leave.
it's okay.
Well, that's the future of their business. The cops don't want to ruin that stuff early on because they're going to have to be like getting paid to arrest them later. So that's like
Our future DUIs.
They're in the veal calf pens right now, like, learning how to do that stuff that they need to, generate revenue in collars later. It's a feeder system for the police department. That's,
Well, yeah.
Never thought about that.
So combine like the drugs, the ridiculous like male image in America that men are supposed to live up
You
to.
gotta be fucking tough, man.
Yeah,
You gotta thug it up.
be a tough ass.
That's one thing about Dayton that I
think you
noticed.
just have to know
Oh,
how to
I'm
do it.
sorry.
Yeah, no, you're no.
Like,
I agree with what you're
I don't
saying.
get out of Dayton. Like, I focus on Dayton because that's where I live. But I see a lot of just dudes who gotta act like they're hard asses
Right,
all the time.
God, they're
But it's like, are you not a real person?
Yeah.
What, really? Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Like just dudes like if I'm going into a store or something and I got somebody following me, I'll hold a door open or something. You just get kind of like not even a thank you or just like what's up, just like or just like that's just one example.
Yeah, it's a tough guys. Jason Katz did a documentary about that, and it's damaging for our country. It's damaging for every person. It hurts women. It hurts men because it promotes violence.
Well, you see, I came
And
up in
aggression.
the military industrial high school football complex, and that's what it is. We watch. Everybody's talking about football, but guys are beating the hell out of each other, and
They're the new gladiators.
they're
Pretty
like
much.
they're our faux warriors.
Yeah.
But these are the same dudes who can't take care of a kid.
Well,
Right.
if you can.
Wait, you're talking about integrity? I mean,
Well, I know. I don't know. I just think if you can,
talking about speaking of
you're,
acronyms.
a huge tough guy.
Right. If you're a man takes care of his kids.
It's just an image, though. I mean, it's I don't know, make you think a certain way. They're really
Yeah, but
soft on the
it's
inside.
hurtful. It's creates obstacles.
You look at
for people.
look at the guys now. I mean, if you take like the GI Joes from like the '70s,
Right.
and then like the GI Joes / like Kids Toys now,
Whatever.
they look like they're like completely on roids.
Oh, yeah.
Like men.
And now it's
can
no
blame
longer
He-Man for
boxing. It used to be like boxing. You'd be like, boxing is an art. Like there's the jab and the combos. and
Now we
blah,
have the
blah, blah.
ultimate fighting
Yeah,
where it's
we
like
got like-
everything goes into
Yeah.
eye gouging and biting.
Men
It's
don't
just
know
like,
how to be well-rounded at all.
That's true. They're not taught how.
Yeah.
No, they're taught.
I've been working on
they're
that
just
for
taught look as bad as possible, pretty much be as rude as possible,
Exactly. Yeah. Be a dick.
and then impregnate everyone and see male or female.
He
You
won
know
some
we should
award.
do. You know we should end this up with us watching William Pace's.
Oh God, no.
Oh my God!
Oh my God! You
Oh
are.
my God! He's running
wrecked.
for county commission now, right?
He's running for county commission
Yeah.
now.
Oh
God,
no,
you're kidding me.
Mister! I go to 700
apparently,
meetings a
my
year.
understanding is his hair is running for city commission, and he's running for county.
Fair. Well,
His hair has actually been endorsed specifically by Al Sharpton.
His hair's not.
Late '80s.
It was like 92 or so.
Okay.
93.
I think the Golden Girls. Yeah, go William Pace.
I'm gonna make an effort not to laugh.
There we go.
Good luck.
Mr. William Pace with the group Springwater. You guys take it away.
That smile has been fantastic. And that dude back there with the shades playing
The hair, the feathered
that
hair.
could be all our dads. Who knows who that guy is? Again. Fuck yes, this is awesome. So good. Oh, right, I'm voting. I'm voting for him. Got it.
Oh, wow. Watch how he snaps to the smile.
Where is it?
Watch how he snaps to the smile.
Wow.
I love the band.
Yeah,
The band, they all have like man fair faucet parodies.
He's got a pocket coat of some sort.
I love it when they cut away to the woman who's the other guest and she's trying not to laugh.
the backup singer.
Yeah.
Is she holding a table?
Oh, the old lady.
I know, she's like,
She's having a stroke.
I don't know what that has to do with me.
She's got the eye.
Oh, I got just licked her lizard lips.
I'm somehow has not changed.
I think I made a spit. I don't know if I did that or not. But,
oh god.
That hair is awesome, though.
Yeah.
I can't hear it. It's so funny.
this is why Dayton is amazing. It's because I've lived here for.
Is he from Dayton?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I've never heard of this dude until the past week. It's
I
awesome.
love the snap to the smile.
Right.
Such good,
Yeah,
such professional.
There is a documentary, like, it's totally,
Totally. His show needs to come back on DATV or whatever it was. Cable Access. It was awesome.
Or there could be another show called, like, William Pesos Me Money.
What made him want to run?
Get Snake up here.
Yeah.
Bounty, or whatever, dog the bounty hunter.
It's like, who knew the song was almost 4 minutes long, too?
That's long for that day.
I love that they keep going back to this old
I want to
lady.
see Jim Booker's face. That's his face.
That's true. They don't.
Are those Ferrari folding sunglasses?
Oh, the guy in the back.
Yeah, nice zipper head.
Look at his mustache.
Blue blockers on.
This is like one of those, like, say no to drugs bands that were, like, bands by all cops.
Oh, and the Coppers. The Coppers played in high school back in the day, and they were fucking horrible.
That's what I'm guessing. This is like one of those like, cop bands that played at Hustle and Dystrophy, like, festivals. That's probably like when this is.
Oh, yeah. You know what? That makes sense. They're totally
haven't
all
even
cops.
talked to the,
You can tell they're all cops.
Is there a keyboardist?
This guy's smiling.
He's all proud.
Good. Thank you, William and guys.
What is that? Earth Japanese?
Oh, this is a multi-flag.
Now we have another treat.
Where are these people?
They're in some weird parking lot.
From this band to this band to this band.
Is this for Channel 2? Is this on Channel 2?
Yeah, I think he is.
We spared no expense.
Isn't that great?
Like cable access stuff.
Isn't that, like, that's amazing. I think that's amazing.
Thank you for watching. If I'm in the picture right now.
Yes, you are.
And anyone else have anything else to say?
No, thank you for having me. And it's great food and great conversation.
Great conversation for sure.
Would you like to gratuitously promote anything?
Nope.
I already did. Mine are all embedded in the talk.
Okay. All right.
Bye-bye.
Close out with the William Pace singing.